Where in the world am I? I'm home in San Diego talking about Johannesburg, South Africa. So welcome back to the Dr. Mary Travelbest Guide podcast. I returned from another 90-day journey around the world, and I can't wait to connect with other fellow travelers like you. Let's share some experiences and let's help build world peace, one person at a time. Today's FAQ, do you feel isolated as an American traveling? I've been solo traveling, so this is the answer. And over the past year, I've noticed a trend. There have been multiple times when people in a group have discussed where they're from and asked questions about each other's countries. And then it gets to me and I say, the US. And it goes silent until the conversation moves on to someone else. It happens in hostels and it happens in other places too. I've had this happen multiple times where I say, I'm an American, and the person will just walk away. I know my country has done some awful things that have earned this reputation. And to me, it's disappointing that it creates a slightly isolating feeling at first. But luckily, I've had some experiences where people have been really friendly, and I hope to have more of those. Has anyone else had similar experiences? I want to make it clear to other Americans that they should not let this discourage them. The majority of my interactions don't go this way. Now, I'm talking about this because I've had repeated small incidents in several countries, and I want to see if others have noticed a pattern. Now, even when this happens, they've never felt more than just passive aggressive. I've been hesitant to address the politics directly because I didn't want to bring it up, but based on responses, if you want to hear more, I'll be more proactive. Let's get on with the 60-second confidence challenge. So today we're going to be talking about Johannesburg, and your challenge in South Africa will be safety. So my book series, it goes into safety. How do you feel safe when you travel alone? It's what most of the questions I get are about. So in the book, I also talk about my safari in Kenya, which is part of East Africa. Now, you might want to book a safari in South Africa, and you might want to even read this book while you're moving through the 5 steps to solo travel. Now, all 5 steps, they go from really easy to more challenging. And I would say Johannesburg is step 5. So look for book A if you want to help yourself find more safety ideas on travel. And book B will also give you lots of destinations based on the different steps. So we're going to be talking about Johannesburg or Joburg, a place that may not feel easy at first, but that's exactly why it matters. We're going to be covering the Apartheid Museum. We're going to talk about Soweto, Mandela, soccer, Mabangan, and Rosebank, as well as Sandton. And we're going to tell you about a good tour guide and how to get informed. So let's be clear, this is not a relaxed, wander anywhere kind of destination, but if you approach it thoughtfully, it's going to become one of the most eye-opening cultural experiences that you can have. So let's walk through what's worth your time and what requires your attention. So Johannesburg is not built for tourists. It's built from history. The history was gold mining in the 1800s, which created the city, and apartheid shaped it. And today, you can feel both everywhere. You'll notice stark contrast between wealth and poverty. You'll see gated neighborhoods, security systems, and guarded homes. And you'll see areas where the infrastructure feels inconsistent. And if you're willing to see it clearly, this city teaches you something few others can. So let's start with the Apartheid Museum. If you're on a solo or group tour, start here. This is not optional. The Apartheid Museum is one of the most powerful museums in the world. You don't just read history, you walk through it. So give yourself at least 2 to 3 hours and be ready because it's emotionally heavy. I also think you should visit Soweto and Mandela's legacy. Soweto, short for Southwestern Township. And this is where history becomes personal. Before your trip, if you can, take a look at Mandela's book, The Long Walk to Freedom. I've got a link in the show notes. Now, if you would walk down the streets, it's Vilakazi Street. It's the home to both Nobel Peace Prize winners from the area, Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. So you can visit the Nelson Mandela House. It's now a museum, and you'll see local life, street vendors, music, dancing, and community, but go with a guide. This isn't optional. So when I was driving around there were small fires in the neighborhood along the roadside. Some of the traffic lights were not working. So be aware and be ready to learn. If you want to see a soccer game, they've got 2 teams that you can watch. So Johannesburg-based Soweto Giants, Orlando Pirates play home at Orlando Stadium, which the city of Johannesburg owns, while Carling Black Label has recently partnered with Kaiser Chiefs as a sponsor. This is the team's major sponsor, and that has historically included Vodacom and others. I've got some show notes on these too. So if you want to go to Mabangen, Johannesburg's creative district, think street art, local designers, live music, markets like the playground. It's one of the few places where you can walk more freely, but still stay aware. Grab a meal, enjoy the vibe. Don't linger alone after dark. Now, let's go visit Rosebank in Sandton. This is more of your modern Johannesburg. If you're wondering where these things feel familiar, this is it. In Rosebank, you'll visit the arts and crafts market. You'll browse local goods safely. And in Sandton, there's an upscale shopping mall, restaurants, hotels like Marriott, and you'll see global brands like Apple and Nike. It's polished, but don't confuse that with the whole cities. Now, there's a few places that you might want to dine: Pata Pata and Mabangen and Salvation Cafe. I've got a link to that. Now, if you're looking for a travel guide in Johannesburg, I happen to have one. Here's a suggestion. It's called Beck and Call. And this is Colleen Becker. She lives in Benoni. It's just outside of Johannesburg. Her grown son is Calvin, and she's married to Glenn. I got to know them all. So Beck and Call is their travel company name. So I got to know them through Servas and Host a Sister. They've had 70 or more guests visit. You can also help them by booking your trip with them. So here's a website for more information. Look in the show notes. This is not a sponsored post, but they can help you book your safari tour, as they are experts. And I'll tell you a little bit about Host a Sister. It's a global Facebook community, and it connects women worldwide. And basically, it allows a woman to share her home with you for free. What does it do? Well, it fosters friendship. It also helps with cultural exchange and safe, budget-friendly travel. Members could offer accommodations if they want. They can offer local meetups. They can offer travel advice without a monetary exchange. And they can ensure that it becomes and doesn't, it's not a dating platform. I used it, and I met Colleen through Servas, and she told me about Host a Sister, which I used later in my 90-day trip. Let's get back to summarizing Johannesburg, and I want to talk about be careful, okay? I want to talk about what does that mean? That means do not travel alone at night. It means use Uber or arrange drivers, stay in known areas like Sandton or Rosebank, and avoid spontaneous wandering. Keep your phone out of sight in public. Now, don't assume that it's constantly dangerous, but we do see that travelers report some issues, but not all the time, right? I didn't have any trouble. And Johannesburg, it's not about comfort, it's about understanding. So you will see 3 things. You'll see inequality, you'll see resilience, and you'll see creativity. Now I'll tell you about my missteps. I had picked the wrong airport to land in Johannesburg. So don't do this. I should have picked Johannesburg's other airport as I was flying from Cape Town. I didn't realize there were 2 airports, and I picked the cheaper one. I ended up on the wrong side of town, and I had to Uber from the airport to the train station. Then I got the train and got to my destination. So in the end, I didn't really save any money. So check the airport before you book with Safari Air. I'd love to connect with you. Please go to my show notes and let's talk.
What's on your travel bucket list? Tell the doctor and her team of women who travel the world seeking the very best. Dr. Travelbest, that is.